did it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hop right back up in that MIDI controller. Because again, it's called piano roll here. These are MIDI notes, right? And that's what we should treat them as such. Drag this down because you can adjust the sizes and everything. These MIDI notes, I'm telling you, MIDI is the future. It's been around for a long time. We're going to record a song today from start to finish, and I cannot wait to jump into this with you guys. Hi, I'm Jamie Grace. Welcome to The Audio, a podcast for women and girls who create. Now, of course, anyone is welcome, but I grew up in the music industry and I'm still in the music industry at 31. Why did I have to think about that? It's an easy number. It's right after 30, 31. And I really am grateful for the women that encouraged me along the way, but I also really wish I could have hung out with female engineers and producers because I just didn't get to do that. So welcome to the party. Part one of this video, part one of this episode series, whatever, was the last episode where we talked about like creating a template for your DAW, to like creating a template inside of your, software so that you can have an easy access to jump in and get started on your songs. When you have an idea, you don't have to worry about, I need a piano track, I need a drum track and all this stuff. We'll just create a template, easy going, so you can just get started. Now, I use Logic Pro and we're using GarageBand because we're emphasizing on using stuff that is free. If you count buying a laptop free, and as easy accessible to you as a producer and creator as possible. And we're going to jump right into where we left off last time. So every DAW is going to be different, and I won't be able to jump into the specifics of each and every one, but this is the template that we created for GarageBand, and what you want to do is make a copy of it anytime you want to make a new song. So let's just, we're going to just rename this really quick. This is the copy, and we're going to say that this song is called Mondays. I absolutely love Mondays. And so, we're going to create a song called Mondays. Now we're going to go ahead and open this song. And I'm trying to figure out, here we go. So you double click on it and now Mondays opens. And this is the template that we created. So if you didn't get a chance to watch part one, again, I think it would be super beneficial because we've got a lead vocal double, panned left, panned right here for this next one. Some little BGV, probably gonna need more than that. We'll see. We don't know yet. We haven't written the song. Guitar, keys, bass, and drums. Something that I'm not going to cover in this video is the songwriting process and song structure, but my next video should be about co-writing, and I'll probably try to go ahead and include song structure in that one as well. And then also, we're not going to cover mixing and mastering. Mastering is not something that I would consider in my skill set or expertise, and mixing is not something that I do feel confident to teach as of yet, but there are tons of people on YouTube that are very confident, and a lot of them are talented too. So we're going to start with drums because I absolutely started my career as a drummer. So we're going to start with drums. Now, as I mentioned in part one, I do have a MIDI keyboard. A MIDI instrument, MIDI, is definitely my recommendation for buying something if you're getting into production, because just using these keys here, you can, create sounds based on whatever virtual instrument you have selected. As you see, we're on the drum track, and if we open the library, you can see all of the different sounds and instruments that we have access to, just to send a fun little reminder out there that all of this is free, relatively free. If you have an iPhone, an iPad, or a MacBook, you can go ahead and jump into all of this stuff for free. And there are other free softwares out there that are not Mac exclusive. I'll, of course, continue to do my research and share as much of those with you guys as possible. But my personal recommendation is GarageBand because the paid version is Logic, which is what I use, and I'm obsessed with it. I was going to go ahead and close this library because that is the drum track we're going to use. And we're just going to use a different musical typing. And I want to go around like J. I want to find a good, what's it called? A good kick drum. And the further left you get down a keyboard, or even sometimes the further right, depending on how many songs are installed or like in that virtual instrument pack, it might not work. As you see, these are not working, but then when you get to J, it is working. Same thing, if we go all the way to the end, I don't think any of these will be active. But I think we'd have to go up a few octaves to actually, there we go, actually get to some music, if you will. The kick drum is typically going to be further left. I like to stay further left. I like to use MIDI or heavier stuff as much as possible. I liked this clap from the last time, and so we've got this adjusted and we're going to get started. As you see, we've got the tempo at 140 here up top. I keep pointing 140. I just like that tempo, but I like a lot of tempos, so you have to just kind of play around and see what you like. As far as virtual instruments go, if you change, this is good. If you change the tempo anytime during production, it should be a pretty easy adjustment for virtual instruments. Whereas tracking vocals, that's going to take a little bit more maneuvering, and I would recommend not adjusting the tempo and then keeping the same vocal that you've recorded, I would say, or the same actual live guitar or live drums that you've recorded. I would say you just got to re-record it or just keep that tempo. And then same thing with loops and samples. For those that don't know, I am neurodivergent, and I don't always prefer to edit too much. So quiet moments are usually when my brain has decided that we're thinking about something else. We're just not focused on the task at hand. So for that is the time signature that we're using. I don't know music. I ain't about to pretend like I do, but I know that that's the time signature, and I know that it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know that if we did 3, 4, it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I know that if we did anything else, you should Google it and figure it out from somebody else. As far as the key of the song, I usually leave it in C major unless I'm using a plugin or a loop within the DAW that I need to pay attention to what the key of the song is. And then here, I like to switch to beats and time. That's just like a visual because I like to be able to see where I am in the song, 10 seconds in, 11 seconds in, and so forth. But again, now I'm getting a little bit into the specifics of GarageBand and Logic, and I don't want to do that too much because I want this to be applicable for whatever DAW you're going to use. Speaking of that, most DAWs, you press R and you can start recording. So let's do that. Let's press R and then so I just did I guess 4 measures of that. Like if you look at the top, I'm just zooming out a little bit. If you look at the top, it's like 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I couldn't really hear the click that well. I'm not about to adjust that right now. But I'm just going to show you guys, some fun little secrets, little tricks of the trade. Because as you heard, those drums were offbeat. Like if we play them back, I just pressed enter to go to the beginning of, the song. And then I'm going to press the space bar. It's like she's trying to be on beat, but there's a lot of anxiety surrounding it. So I just did select all, Command A. Again, it works different in every DAW, but this will work in every DAW. You just have to find it out for your specific DAW. Under where it says time quantize, I'm going to click 1, 4. No, I think I'm going to do... You need to know music a little bit for this stuff, or you can just guess like me. And basically what quantize does, it just adjusts it to the beat. I know. That's a little better. Sure. That's fine. We'll work with that. And now we're going to, if we want, we can also adjust the length of these MIDI notes, and we can also adjust the velocity. I'll hit those in a couple seconds, but for now, I'm going to close that bottom bar, and we've got our drums. We are literally rock stars at this point. And we're going to go over to the bass, and I'd like to see the musical keyboard again so that I can know exactly what I'm doing. Now, again, I want to honor that we're using all free stuff, but if you have a MIDI keyboard, that's me pressing on my keyboard, then that's literally what you're doing. So that's super cool. But you can still do that with your regular traditional keyboard. I might try to like insert a little like video of my graffitied desk, but you can literally just do like, that's a really low octave, and which I love, but I'll bring it up just a little bit just because. And you might not know, you might be thinking, well, what's the melody? Like, what do we want to do? I don't know. You can do anything. It's your song. That's the fun of it. We'll do something relatively simple, yeah, so that we can get through all these instruments. There's nothing wrong with simple. We'll do C, which is annoying because on here it says A, but again, we're using a musical keyboard, that kind of thing. So we'll do like C and then G. I want this a little lower. Doesn't sound like a bass to me. And then there we go. So we'll just do something like that. Just 4 notes on the 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that, right? So I'll count us in. Can you count me in? Of sure, Colby. 2, 3, 4. Did it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hop right back up in that MIDI controller. Because again, it's called piano roll here. These are MIDI notes, right? And that's what we should treat them as such. So I'm going to first quantize. We're going to do select all and then do 1, 4. So they're all on the 1, 2, 3, and 4. It didn't do it perfectly. So I'm just going to go back here and adjust. That's on the 1 and then 2, 3, and 4. Now, somebody from Berkeley could explain this better than I'm about to explain this, but I'm going to just say it the way my brain knows about it. And you can look at this and you can decide if it makes sense to you or not. That's up to you. Now, if you go and comment and say that didn't make no sense, what sense does that make to do that? Just go somewhere. I'm trying, baby. I'm trying. Okay, so we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you see where it says 1 and then 1.2, then 1.3, then 1.4, then 2? Because it's like in that 1, this 1 up here, there's 4. And so we're gonna drag this down because you can adjust the sizes and everything. These MIDI notes, I'm telling you, MIDI is the future. It's been around for a long time. That's 1, and then I'm gonna put it onto 2. You hear that? Look, if you go down, you have so many options. You could literally just sit down here and just craft a song just by creating MIDI notes. And I'm gonna make all these the same size. Now, I will tell you as well that every DAW has different ways of doing this, which I'm not doing a lot of shortcuts because I don't want it to be so GarageBand specific, but a lot of them you can like literally, right click and go into certain settings. I don't know all of the GarageBand settings and shortcuts, but you can go into settings and like do a lot of this automated, automate them to be this many measures, this length, and all of that. You can also adjust the velocity. The velocity is essentially, I don't think this is the proper definition, but it's essentially like how hard you're hitting the keyboard or the piano. And so, like if I click this note and then I adjust it, it'll be a little like, it'll hit a little harder. Whereas if I put it this way, it'll hit a little softer. At least that's what it's supposed to do. Oh yeah, okay. It's a little, okay. You see that line in the MIDI note that is moving? That just kind of, it's like, and then you put it softer, it's like, oh. So that's how that works. And I sometimes like to keep it in the middle. Sometimes I'll like select all of them again and make it all the same velocity. Sometimes I'll mix it up. Because that's true to how I actually play guitar or excuse me, bass or piano. Sometimes you're like, I literally look like I've never held a guitar in my life. Sometimes you're more like, you know what I mean? You change the velocity, you change the heaviness and the intensity in which you play. And so that's kind of what that is. So now that I've adjusted all of these 4 notes into all the 4 notes of the one, that's way too fast. That's not what I meant. I don't like it. And that's okay. I wasn't supposed to like it because originally I was playing it like this. Yeah. So now I have them on the, I have it on the 1 and the 1.3 and the 2 and the 2.3. So would that be the 1 and the 3? Because I have this on the 2 and the 4. Yeah. So have you ever heard like some people clap on the 1 and the 3 like that? Oh, wait. I'm not gonna edit that. Some people clap like, oh yeah, that's the 2 and the 4, and then some people clap like, oh yeah, like on the 1 and the 3. It's a different type of clapping. So, I put my melodic stuff on the 1 and the 3. Look here, we got the 1, and there's the little bah, and then we've got the 3, and it's there, bah. Whereas my snare drum or my clap sound is on the 2, which is here, 2 and the 4. And that, my friends, is music theory. It's not. Okay, now I'm gonna just show you like some some lazy ways to do stuff. What I'm gonna do here, you don't have to do this. What I'm gonna do here is, no, I'm not gonna do that. Let's just do, well, yes I am. Let's just copy that whole MIDI section into the piano section. Look at that. Yeah, that's cool. It should be sooner. It should be like bah, bah. Yeah, it should be there. So let's delete that track and then go back here. It should be there. Yeah, there it is. She figured it out. It took her 6 months, but she figured it out. So we're just going to select all that and then just make it all a little bit longer. I'm going to close that back again. I'm using P, which opens and closes the piano roll. Then I'm going to just copy and paste it. So now it's in the keys one as well. Then I'll just select both of these and I'm going to drag it. I'm using Alt and then I'm dragging it. I don't know what shortcut that is everywhere else. You can also do like copy, paste, and then go over to put the time, what's this called? A playback thing? Yeah, the playhead thumb. What? Put that there and then just kind of like copy and paste it over. I'm going to press enter, start over. Oh yeah. So now we're going to track our lead vocal. I don't know this song. It's not been written. But that is the joy of life. So we're going to just do this and go back to the lead vocal. Now you can do this in any order you want because you might already have the song written. And you just haven't written the music around it. So you just do the vocal first. You don't have to do this exactly how I'm doing it. Your workflow is your workflow. I have a different workflow from when I'm working on upbeat song, slow song. Sometimes they have similar patterns with like the piano and like when I choose to do piano and synth and then organ and, vibe, just vibe. Production, a lot of production is perspective. Just vibe, have fun, be yourself. I forgot the key. Now, that was a choice. And we're going to have to do it again now. Because we just did it once. I'm gonna put that in the double. Or we could leave that in the lead and then record it down here. Record the double. I like Mondays, the start of a new wake. Oh, the start of a new wake. I don't even know the words to my own song. The start of a new wake. So I am not going to double the second half. Sometimes I'll do that. Like you'll just double the beginning, more serious parts and not worry about the rest of it. So like, start. I like Mondays, the start of a new wake. So there's that. And I'm going to do some BGVs. I like Mondays, the start of a new wake. Always Mondays when I get my chicken nuggets. Piece of cake. We're just going to do that again. I can't remember what I did. I like Mondays, the start of a new wake. Always. I didn't do that right. So sometimes if you're feeling lazy, you can just copy this and double it down. But it doesn't have the same effect. A doubled vocal actually sounds way better than just the same vocal doubled, right? A stacked vocal, doubled vocal, similar things. When you're adding a re-recorded part of the same thing, it sounds a lot better than just trying to copy and paste. It just does. So sometimes you'll have to go and do something like press S, which is to solo a track in most DAWs, so that you can relearn whatever it is you did, so you can actually focus on doing it again and not doing it the lazier way of just copying and pasting, and it also won't sound as good. So I love how I stayed on key the whole time. So it's then it goes start of a new wake. I accidentally recorded over it. I'm gonna go back to the correct track. Start of a new wake. Always Mondays when I get my chicken nuggets. Sometimes, especially when I'm doing background vocal stuff, I just find myself leaning away from the mic if I think it's going to get off key, because I'm not trying to fix two off-key background singers. Where are my background singers? In here, you see this little marker? I was talking to you guys. So we're going to I just did Command T. I split the playhead there. And then on this one, I'm going to drag it over. And now it's blank there. And I removed that little part. Now for the guitar. I oftentimes, if I'm adding synth or guitar or something like that, I like to just do something fun and melodic kind of along with the vocal or something like that. So I might just like wait to track the vocal or to track any other melodic addition. I'm cheating. No, I won't do that. Okay. Wait, hold on. How do you do the musical keyboard again? Okay, so I'm going to open the musical keyboard again. And I'm going to, I'm going to do, okay, so. So sometimes all you got to do is just kind of play around with stuff. If you sit and try to think of a melody, you sometimes won't come up with a melody. But if you sit down and just go and just play around like that, you might come up with something and go, oh, that was fun. So that's what we're going to try. And we're going to select from the background vocal up until this double. Actually, I don't know if I can select multiple tracks on GarageBand. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to do it individually, and I'm going to press M, which is mute in most DAWs. I'm going to mute them so that I can really focus and cherish that lead vocal and write my guitar part to that. So let's see what happens there. I like Mondays, the start of a new wake. Always Mondays when I get my chicken nuggets. See, we're just gonna double click this, and when we do, that's interesting. So we're gonna double click this and go into the the MIDI marker situation. I'm gonna select all of it. I'm gonna do an eighth note. Okay, and then we're gonna just see what happens. Let's see. The start of a new wake. Always Mondays when I get my chicken nuggets. So I'm gonna take this out and bring these over here. Let's see. Nuggets. No. Nuggets. I actually just wanted to replace this one. It's not replacing it. It's actually going on top of it. You can change that setting. I have it changed in Logic to where if I drag a MIDI note over another MIDI note, it just replaces the one before. But you can also have it to overlay. I think that the overlay is a lot more beneficial to people that play piano and that really know music, because you probably know how you want certain notes layered and stacked. I don't. Until I hear it, and then I'm like, no, you're standing on your brother, and I try to move the notes over. So cool. Yeah, so that's why I was looking for that like delayed note. So now we have lead vocal, couple background vocals. We have these things, and background vocals are panned a little bit. And let's just see what our song sounds like. We're going to turn off the metronome for playback, and let's see what happens. I like my... Wait. What is this beginning? Do y'all hear that delay in this one? It's so delayed. Listen. It's like I thought I knew when the OOs came and I didn't. So what I'm going to do is the second one, the one on the bottom that is off. So I'm going to cut it there, and I'm going to zoom in, not too far because it'll just make your brain hurt. I'm going to try to line these up as best as I can with each other. Usually what I'll do is I'll try to find like the thickest part of the vocal of the sound wave, and I'll just, yeah, that actually feels pretty good. So let's turn these, let's listen to them loud again. Yeah, that's better. I don't know why I did them so spread apart though. Did I do these spread apart like that? Yeah. So I actually like them closer and not the I like them much closer. So I'm going to do Command Z, undo that. And I'm actually going to make this one then adjust to the first one. What I need to make sure that I do is clip it at the beginning and also the end, not too close to the actual note, because you don't want to cut off any of the note. Like as you see here, if we were to cut it off here, we're going to cut off some of that note. So we're going to slide it down a little bit, and you want to cut it off about right there, sure, because you don't want to drag it, and then you end up dragging all of this, then everything's out of sync, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to sync this little guy up with this one, and so let's hear how it sounds. That's better. This is a hit. Okay, we are going to zoom out a little bit, start at the beginning, and let's see what happens. I like Mondays, the start of a new wake. Always Mondays when I get my chicken nuggets. That's how you do it, boys. So yeah, that is how I had this quick panic that I was not recording. That is how anyway, so from here again, the possibilities are endless. There's so much that you can do. Now, if I were to share a few things that I wish I could have done better with this song, I don't think I can, because have you heard it? One is that I wish my vocal was a little bit louder. I wish these sound waves are a little bit fuller. So that's something to adjust as I'm going into, the production session, right? The session, I would make sure that my interface is leveled exactly how I want it to be. And somehow this ended up that high, but I would probably bring it down low and then bring my interface up a little bit higher. I also, through this microphone, I use something called a cloud lifter that helps to bring the microphone up a little bit. So I probably would have done that. Another thing is I would have written the song. Honestly, no. But another thing that you can do that we didn't even cover, and I'll just kind of super briefly go to this, are loops. And I want to talk about samples and loops in another video and like dig deeper into like all the services that you can use. Maybe I'll do like the best production services, top 5 you should get for beginners or something. And this, like I said, I just got GarageBand today. So, I used to have it a while ago. And so I just downloaded it today. So it's still loading and I don't know how long this is going to take. But a lot of DAWs do have loops included. There's a pretty famous story that the loop for the song Umbrella with Rihanna and Jay-Z is a loop from GarageBand. And it's a famous story and it's a true story. Loops can be really great. So just be mindful of that. If you're not naturally a beat person or a drum person, and you could just be like, I'm just not going to have drums on this song. Like that could be the choice you choose, and that's perfectly fine as well. But just make sure you know about all the tools and things that are accessible to you, and definitely use the stuff that's within your DAW, because there's so many cool things. I'm probably going to have to stop and come back for this because I think it's going to take a little while for this to be ready to be, used. A few minutes later, these are the loops that you will get access to with GarageBand. Again, I don't know if other DAWs have this kind of thing. I would assume so. But it's really cool just to kind of check it out, and I'll just really quickly show you guys what it can be like to search for a loop and then implement that into your song. And you do have full license to use this in your music, release that music, and benefit off of it financially or in any other way. You couldn't just take these and sell them on the internet. Pretty sure that's illegal. So one of the benefits to making sure that your song is kind of like how we talked about up here. What is it? Beats and project in the right tempo and key is that these things will then be applicable to whatever you set up there. So. And we hear you and we see you and we support you. So I wanted to show you guys some drums. I just clicked on beats and there's options. There's truly so many things that you can do. I could sit there all day and just listen to loops and adjust things and make them work for my brain. My new song called Mondays, available to stream. I don't know, maybe I'll put it on Instagram if you guys want it. But but yeah, that's how it works. Creating a song from start to finish. Let me know if you guys have any more questions. If there's anything that you would like to get more details about, I would love to share that with you. And yeah, happy recording, happy creating, and I'll see you in the comments. Okay, bye. Even if you think you don't need it, please track vocals with a metronome. Because no matter how good or professional you might be, this might happen. Even if you think you don't need it, please track vocals with a metronome. Then you play it back, and even if you think you don't need it, please track vocals with a metronome. One of them is running a race, and it ain't the same as the first girl.